Hi friends, hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Martina, and today I think I am going to be making some faux vintage tape because I am in a need of some, and I also then want to show you guys how I would use it in my own personal journaling. And so we are going to try to find some ways to use this tape when we have it ready in, well, I'm going to be working in my accordion no-sew journal. So that will come in a moment. But it's really very simple. And so what you need to make this faux tape and faux vintage tape, and I mean this type of like just sellotape, which looks sort of messy and grungy and vintagey, is tape, of course. So I have here just regular sellotape, Scotch tape, I think you could say, although this is not from Scotch brand. This is some no-name brand from my local office supply store. I have this packing tape, which is also glossy, but it's wider, and I like it because then I can cut more irregular shapes from it. So depending on what I need for my project. And then I have this one, and I've never tried this before with the vintage faux vintage tape technique, but this is a matte finish tape. So we are going to be trying this for the first time together. Then what I have here is some sort of non-stick surface, and I'm just using a piece of baking paper. I then have alcohol inks, and my colors, they are from the Ranger brand, and my colors are terracotta, ginger, and pebble. And I think from what I've seen people say and do when they create this tape, the community's favorite color is caramel. I don't have this one. I think I got these in a 3-pack, and so I'm going to be mixing and matching them, and we'll see what we can create with them. And then something to distribute your ink, and you can definitely use just a cotton pad or cotton ball, but I'm going to be using actually my blending tool, and I took a a brand new sponge for this, so I don't mix it with my regular inks and oxides, and I am just going to be using it to smear my ink over the tape. So let's get started with, I'm just going to start with gluing some pieces of tape onto my surface. Okay. Let's see what we can create. So how are you guys? How is everyone? I apologize for the tape sounds. I hope they are not going to be too bothersome. So I will have some longer pieces, some shorter pieces, and some more irregular pieces with the thick tape. So I actually had a bit of a break with filming after my little series of using up a whole 6x6 paper pad, and less sort of out of choice, more because I didn't feel that well, to be honest. I had a few like medical things come up in just a few days. Everything just seems to be happening all at once, as it usually does. Now everything is fine. I actually had a checkup at a hospital this morning because I wasn't feeling that well at night. But they did like a comprehensive checkup on the baby, on me, and everything seems to be absolutely fine. So this was such a huge relief, because yeah. But now I'm just feeling quite tired and quite, I would say, you know, overwhelmed with all of that. And so what I really wanted to do was come here, sit at my desk, and just play in my journal and chat with you guys. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm not even trying to put my tape here perfectly. I have some wrinkles, but I feel like every sort of imperfection in the way you put your tape on your surface will just add some interest to the design that we can get with the alcohol ink. Oh, and okay, so I'm already starting with the irregular shapes because I'm not tearing this tape too well. Where is the missing bead? Bit, not a bead. Okay, let me cut this one off, but that's fine because that's what I really wanted. Now I'm not sure how well the camera is picking up where my tape is. I hope the glare from my ring light actually helps for once, instead of being a hindrance, and that you guys can see it slightly better. So yeah, everything is fine with both me and the baby. She's growing, she's strong, and I don't need this small piece. And I think that maybe pregnancy is just like that, you know. Everything is fine until it's not, and then you just have to react and go check everything up. Okay, let me use some of this matte tape. Go check everything up, and yeah, and just stay calm as much as you can, which can be difficult. Definitely was for me this morning, but it's all good. Okay, so I'm very curious about how this matte tape is going to perform. And let me feel, not feel, but fill this whole sheet of baking paper or piece of baking paper with my tape. Okay, that should be plenty. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. As per usual, I'm drinking decaf with some soy milk in this one and some cinnamon. It's very tasty. Okay, so I'm going to be putting on my glove now, just in case. Now, this would be probably more important if you were using a cotton pad or something to dab the ink. With this, I shouldn't get any ink on my fingers, but let's see. Let me start maybe with this one, this ginger color. I really like it. It's nice, brown, warm, and so this should give me a nice effect. So because alcohol ink dries quite quickly, I am just going to be doing small sort of portions. And I am just dabbing, not even like swiping my blending tool, but just dabbing it onto the surface, and let's leave this to dry. Let me try this pebble one. I think it's more sort of earthy brown, so I honestly don't know if it's going to be nice on its own, but maybe I can mix it with one of the others, so you can already see the difference in those colors. And I think I will leave it to dry, and then I will add some more of ginger on top of it, perhaps. Okay. Do I want the terracotta one? Because is it? Yes, terracotta. It's quite red. So, oops, and I got it on my mat here, so I'm going to have to clean this up later. Now this terracotta one is probably a bit too red for my liking, so let me just mix it with ginger while it's not dry yet, and let's see. Oh, I can actually dab some of this on top of the pebble one. But you can already see, I hope the camera is picking it up, all the little irregularities that we are getting. And I think I will just take my my mixed media mat and maybe put it under here to protect my desk a little and my cutting mat. Oh, I actually love this color, to be honest. And let me see what would happen if on top of these I would add just some bits of terracotta. And maybe a little bit of pebble to make it slightly darker. And you can see how those inks react with each other when they are not dry yet. But I like those shapes on my tape. It looks like maybe water damage or something like that. And I think I would like some ginger on this one where we have the pebble. Oh yes, oh I love it. Love how this is turning out. Okay, this is very, very pretty. So maybe for these three, let me start with ginger again, and then we can add some variation with the others. Maybe since I have a lot on my sponge here, I'm going to use it up on this matte tape. Maybe I should have worn 2 gloves. Probably would have been better. Okay, let's leave this to dry for a bit, and then let's try more. Oops, that's terracotta, that's fine. Let's try this on the matte sticky tape. It's much different for sure. I don't think it spreads as easily. Seems to be drying maybe more quickly, but I'm very curious about how it will look like on paper when we put it on top of some other like patterns and papers. And let me try pebble on this one as a base, and then we can go back and mix some other colors with it. This is actually very, very freeing. A nice exercise, I would say. And then some of this ginger. Yeah, I think dabbing, if you're using a sponge like this, dabbing works better than swiping, because I feel like with swiping you remove a lot of the color, the ink from your tape. Let's try this mixture of colors, so pebble and terracotta mixed together. And we will add a little bit of ginger on top of that. Then I think these are dry, so maybe just a smidge of this terracotta, and not dabbing it too quickly, so that it can do its thing and give me those cool patterns. So maybe let's add a little bit of this darker one as well. Yeah. Oh, this is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, the matte really looks different, like less vibrant. I think the camera would pick this up, that they are definitely, oops, that's a lot of ink, so maybe I'm going to use it on the top one here. The ginger is definitely the warmest, so it warms up the color of the tape really nicely. Oh, those are super cool. Now, if you don't like those, then I would just probably stick with one layer of ink. You can mix colors, but just don't put any more colors on top of those, because these marks appear when you put ink over an already inked surface. Okay, and then let's use ginger on this one, and maybe mix actually a little bit with this darker color. And one last thing I think I'm going to try is to add some more, perhaps, ginger on this matte one, and see how this reacts. Okay, I like it. I'm not sure I love it. I think we have to wait with that verdict for when I use it on a page. Maybe just a tiny bit more here. This looks a little bit sort of bland. Okay, they are messy, they are cute. Okay, so I am going to take a tiny break and air my room a little bit. And when I close my window, I will be back, and we excuse me, and we are going to be using these tapes in our journal. and we will see what we can come up with. Oh, and maybe just before I go, let me just try to show you guys without the glare. I'm sorry if it was really bad, but this is sort of what we have. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so let's find our next spread in this journal, and let's see what we can do with the tape. So my first idea was that I would like to hinge something sort of like we have this flip out here, using the vintage tape. Oh, here is, we used a piece of it here in the previous one. So in my scraps box I actually have this little book page, and I was thinking maybe of using this one. Not sure which side. Maybe this one. This would look nice with all of the vintage tapes, I think. And perhaps I would back it with, I have this, oops, excuse me, I have this piece of brown paper where this was just when I was doing some swatches and I was cleaning my brush here, doing a little mark making, and then I did these little doodly leaf thingies inspired by Meg journals. So I used, let me show you guys, I used one of these inks. So this is Liquitex acrylic ink with this like pipette sort of thing, and I just, you know, went over my paper and drew the shape. And so I was thinking maybe I could have this sort of on the reverse. So maybe I will actually like tear a piece of this. Not trying to be precise at all about this, clearly. So something like that, and then I would have it kind of like that as a little flip. So I think I can actually fold this down, maybe even glue this to the book page. And then do I want, let me perhaps shorten this bit a little bit. So something like that. Is it too big? Now that's the question. No, it is going to be sticking out a tiny bit, although no, because I still need a spot to attach it with my tape. So this would be more sort of like that. So I will perhaps shorten this even more, and then of course I'm keeping the scraps. I can definitely use them for something, maybe even for the other side of the page, whatever we decide to do there. Okay, let me just distress this book page, just going around the edges with my fingers, because we have a lot of those distressed edges in those journal pages, the way I glued my my collage pieces. So I think it's going to look nicely, and then I'm going to glue it, well, probably ink it first. Okay, so I think I'm just going to use a piece of tissue to remove this sponge and go back to my vintage photo one. let's just go around some of those distressed edges, the corners, like that. And actually I'm thinking maybe I could even, maybe let's do it this way. And maybe I could even stitch it to this piece, like with just a very simple, I could do it with my sewing machine, or I could just go around with some simple hand stitching, but maybe with this one a sewing machine would be quicker. So if you wouldn't, if you don't want to use a sewing machine, then I would just glue these two pieces together, but I think this will give me a nice texture, and so I am just going to distress these edges slightly more, like that, and then I will take it to my sewing machine, so I will be right back. Okay, I think it's really nice like that, quite scrappy and messy, and I like how the book page, this distressed part, peeks through here. Now, would I want to add anything else to this sort of side? Because when we pick this, when we move this up, or here even, this is quite busy. So you know what? Let's first hinge it with our vintage tape. So, which piece do we want? I think I'm just going to start from the top, and I will take a piece and I will use it like I would use washi tape to do that. So if you don't have this tape, you know, just use washi tape. It's going to work just fine. And oh, that's so cool. That is so cool. And I'm just going to add some wrinkles to this tape. And then when this flips out, how about we try the matte one? So if we don't like it, then it's underneath. But I think I might like it. It's more subtle, and I think I'm going to distress it as well, just a little bit. But actually, I think I love it. It's definitely more subtle than this one. But it looks pretty, I think. I do think it looks really pretty. Okay, so what I was thinking about doing on this side, before I decide whether I want to add anything underneath here or just leave this collage as is I had some scraps of paper from some project. These, like, excuse me, I hope I didn't knock the camera. So these are very, as you can see, very thin and long. But I was thinking maybe they would be perfect to make like a little belly band. And you know, the height is perfection. So I would probably cover most of this up, but perhaps I could, and I also have some butterflies, which are actually really nice colors for what we have going on the opposite side. So let me pick a few of those. Oh, and maybe, do I have any like postage stamps? that would also match. Maybe this one, because we already have a lot of orange. So I don't really want to add any orange with postage stamps, although I do have this sticker, which is quite nice. Maybe we can use that as well. So it's a bit of a change in a color scheme, I would say, because for those previous pages, we definitely leaned, or I definitely leaned towards pink, but I don't mind that at all. So okay, so these are some things that I think that I would like to add to my little belly band. But first, let me just cover it with some scraps. And where are those scraps? Oh, here, of the painted paper, because maybe I could, in fact, tie those two sides together this way. And then I would probably like to add a little bit of text. So some of this original paper can definitely peek through. I don't mind that. Oh, maybe this piece. Does this have? No, because it has some modeling paste on it. So something along these lines, and oh, have some doily. Maybe I could add a piece of this as well, kind of like this. And what else would we like? Maybe some music paper. I don't know if I think this was from a music. I love this little hole here with this sort of natural distressing. Oh, it's even nicer on the other side. So let me maybe add it here. And I think I'll just start gluing these down. So perhaps it would be wise not to do it on the journal, and then we can see about some of those little focal points. So let me use my wet glue for that, although of course glue stick would work well as well. And then maybe this one. So I'm just trying to be mindful not to go over the top and bottom parts of this belly band, because I know that this size of paper is actually quite perfect for my little journal. But I can definitely go over the sides. So maybe this here, this piece of paper doily. Maybe kind of like that. And perhaps, okay, so let's see if any of these pieces will work. But I'm thinking, you know, why not? Why wouldn't they? With this one, I think I'm perhaps going to just cut off this gray border. I know it's a nice shape because it's shaped like a postage stamp. But maybe I don't need it. Maybe I just want the image. Let's take this one. maybe something like that. Oh, I have this butterfly. I think these two are, excuse me, quite similar. So how about I change it up a little bit. Okay. Well, I could have both of those. I think this is missing something here. But what? I know not. Oh, maybe some vintage tape. I was actually thinking of adding the vintage tape sort of to glue down my belly band to the page, but maybe I will now utilize this these wider pieces, which are more irregular, and so I can cut them or tear them even however I like. So perhaps a piece here, and then let me cut another one and use a smaller bit, maybe like, oops, maybe like that, and then like that, so in 3 places. So I'm going to remove the butterflies, glue down, oh, this is a sticker, my bad. So maybe I can remove the backing. I think it's a sticker, yes. I can still remove the backing, and then I am going to use some glue because I do not trust these stickers, especially when I had them in my stash for a while. I don't think the glue is really well. Now, because it is a sticker and I don't want it to stick to my page, I'm going to take a scrap piece of paper and just glue it on this side, which we are not going to see, but this will make it so that it won't stick to my page. Now it's not sticky anymore. And then this little postage stamp, actual vintage. And then to sort of match the 2 sides together, I think I am going to add some stitching. I'm just thinking how maybe I could do something similar, so a little like double, what am I looking for? This double outline, something like that. Just going to do a little bit distressing, so again our 2 sides match 2 sides of the page, and I have no idea what I want to put in this belly band yet, but I'm sure we can figure something out. This journal is definitely more about the creative process and having fun in the process than the pages being, I don't know, useful or containing some actual memory keeping or something like that. Okay, so let me take this cute little one to the sewing machine. Okay, so here we have the belly band with some messy stitching, and I'm actually thinking of putting my butterflies on like that, so I would add one more, I think, than I was already planning. So let me just quickly glue those down. This one here, and then this one sort of overlapping it, maybe like that. I think it's cute. I'm braving the butterflies. I am not the greatest fan, but these are small, and these are they are from a vintage book, and they are not realistic perhaps, but detailed, I would say. Oh, look at this. I think it looks really nice together, those two sides of the page. You know what, before I glue it down, how about we add some more vintage tape, maybe the matte one. Let's try the matte one to the background, and I'm going to actually make a little cut and tear this so I can have some thinner pieces. And perhaps one more somewhere here. I'm actually really enjoying this matte one. So basically, whatever tape you have, just make sure it's transparent or like white, like this. I don't know if this matte, I would call it transparent, but yeah, not a colored one. So actually I'm going to go with glue to attach my belly band. Kind of in the middle, like that. Then we have our little flip, which I love. And before I put something in here, let's just make sure this glue is doing its thing. So I actually have this little piece of handmade paper that I embossed. Maybe I could have, although I don't particularly like this pink on this spread. So let me grab my stash of handmade papers. This whole thing is incredible, and it was incredibly kindly gifted to me some time ago, and I've been loving doing embossing on those papers. How about this one? But maybe that's a little bit much with all of the oranges going on. Maybe pink wouldn't be such a bad idea, to be honest. I also have this. This is more like a salmon color compared to this more orangey one. Perhaps this would look nice. Let me just try to add it here. Not sure. I have some neutral ones. Maybe a nice neutral. Some smaller pieces, bigger pieces. This one is again, no, it's yet another color. This one actually sort of reminds me of those butterflies. So maybe I could make a little tag out of this. So I would shorten this up and keep this scrap. Maybe just rough up these edges a little bit more to sort of keep up with the theme, I suppose. And okay, so I'm going to take this away for now. Ink the edges a little bit. And then I will probably add maybe some lace as a little topper, because I don't want to introduce any new colors. Oh, the back side is also very pretty. So perhaps I could use some like white or cream lace. I have a piece like this left over from something. Let's see. Oops, oh no. So I said I wanted to wait until the glue was done doing the gluing thing, and I didn't, as always. Oh, the impatient. Yeah, I think it's impatience. I have some of this gold, or maybe I think it goes this way. And then maybe just a piece of this. How about that? I think I like it. So while this is doing its thing, I am going to cut this small piece, and I'm going to stitch my little topper with my sewing machine again, so that again we have this consistency of the patterns on both sides. I think it's a very cute little scrappy tag, and actually I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, we can find a flower to go on top of it. If not, then that's fine, because I think there is a lot going on here already. I probably should have some like little clips, or maybe I do have some small ones here. Well, small-ish, I would say. So let me just clip this and this to make sure that I don't pull this up again. Okay, so as for our little tag, let's go to my warm colors section. Oh, I put those die cuts here, and they are, well, they are really pretty. Oh, maybe we could add some of those, maybe not these colors, but they also like hook onto the flowers on the other side. And it's not the easiest to work with that. Let me just see, maybe one of these colors. These are all a bit big. This tag is really quite on the small side. Oh, I have a little small one. How about that? And then let me see if I want to add a fussy cut flower also, or not necessarily. Do I have anything kind of like orangey? I have this little thing. It's attached to some other bits here, but maybe this is a bit big but very pretty. But maybe I could actually cut it off and maybe use the leaves for something else. All of my scissors are actually in my living room. My little Tim Holtz scissors and my big gold scissors. I was doing some cutting there. And so I am stuck with this little pair, which is very pretty and vintagey looking, but it's also not the most comfortable one, I'd say. Okay, it's a cute little branch. branch, I think is the word. Okay, you know what? I love it. I love it. It's so cute and just so simple. Oops. So let me messily ink around it so we get rid of a little bit of the stark whiteness. And then I'm going to first glue down my die cut. And these are from Tim Holtz, some of his, I believe, wildflower die cuts. And I think this is the smallest one that I have. So why not use it? Maybe here. And now that I'm thinking about it, do we perhaps want just a little bit of this faux vintage tape? Since this is sort of a theme of today's video, maybe let's go with the glossy one this time. Just a scrub like that to go over the stems of our plants like this. Isn't it just so sweet? Okay, so let me see how would I like it here. Maybe like that, because if I close it, then it's going to peek out a little bit, but it's not a problem with a journal like that. So perhaps something like this. And then we have a flip out, and I think I'm going to leave this for now, but maybe the next time when we work in this journal, I will have some quote, because I think this page could maybe use some handwriting. And maybe I would like put a piece of vellum and just handwrite some quote, something like that. But I think I'm happy with how this looks for now. So let me just take these things away and let me show it a little bit closer to you guys. So we have our little scrappy book page being held by a vintage tape, as well as the other side with matte vintage tape, which definitely is much more subtle, and it can be definitely a nice look. Well, depends, I suppose, on what you are looking for. And this side with our little tag and a belly band, which I think is so cute. Oops, and the little wing. And so I wanted sort of in or under the belly band, but sort of not, so that I can see all of those elements peeking through. And then when I close the journal, I will see a little bit of this. Now this could get bent a little bit, of course, but because I did bend it intentionally in a lot of places, I don't think this is going to be a problem. Okay, you guys, so this is our video for today and our little junk journal with me process, and I am so happy I did this. Thank you so much for being with me today. This really helped me sort of relax and wind down after everything that was going on since Sunday. I think I've had some health issues that were kind of scaring me, but like I said, so far so good. Everything is going good with the pregnancy and the baby, and so thank you so much, you guys. I love crafting with you. Definitely what I needed today. And I also have a lot of super cool vintage tape to use in the future projects. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will speak to you guys very, very soon in the next video. Bye!